81. At sea pacifying monastery mind monkey knows the fiend. In the Black Pine Forest, 3 pupils search for their master. We were telling you how Tripitaka and his disciples arrived at the sea pacifying Chan Grove Monastery, where they had a vegetarian meal prepared by the local monks. After the 4 had eaten, and the girl too had received some nourishment, it was getting late and lamps were lit in the abbot's chamber. Because they wanted to ask the Tang monk the reason for seeking scriptures, and because they coveted a glimpse of the girl, the various monks all crowded into the chamber and stood in rows beneath the lamps. Tripitaka said to the Lama he had met earlier, "Abbot, when we leave your treasure temple tomorrow, what's the rest of the journey to the west like?" At once the priest went to his knees, so startling the elder that he hurriedly tried to raise him, saying, "Please rise, Abbot. I am asking you about the journey. Why are you performing ceremony instead?" "Your journey tomorrow, Master," replied the priest, "should proceed along a smooth and level path, and you need not worry. But at this very moment there is a small but rather embarrassing matter. I wanted to tell you the moment you entered our gate, but I feared that I might offend you. Only after we have served you a meal do I make so bold as to tell you. Since the venerable master has come from such a long way in the east, you must be tired, and it is perfectly all right that you should rest tonight in the room of this humble cleric. But it will not be convenient for this lady Bodhisattva, and I wonder where I should send her to sleep." "Abbot," said Tripitaka, "you needn't suspect that we master and disciples are harboring some perverse intentions. We passed through a black pine forest earlier and found this girl bound to a tree. Sun Wukong, my disciple, refused to rescue her, but I was moved by my Buddhist compassion to have her released and brought here. Wherever the abbot now wishes to send her to sleep is all right with me, since the master is so kind and generous," said the priest gratefully. "I'll just ask her to go to the Devaraja Hall. I'll make a bed of straw behind Holy Father Devaraja, and she can sleep there." "Very good. Very good," said Tripitaka. Thereupon the young priests led the girl to go to sleep at the back of the hall. After the elder had bidden the other priests good night, everyone left. "You all must be tired," said Tripitaka to Wukong. "Let's rest now so that we may rise early." All of them thus slept in the same place, for they wanted to guard their master and dared not leave his side. Gradually the night deepened. Truly, all sounds had ceased as the moon rose high. The temple grew silent, for no one walked by. The silver stream glistened with astral showers, when tower drums hastened the change of hours. Leaving them to rest through the night, we tell you now about Pilgrim, who rose by dawn and at once told 8 rules and Shamunk to pack and ready the horse, so that they might ask their master to set out again. The elder, however, was still sleeping at that moment. Pilgrim walked up to him and called out, "Master." The master raised his head slightly but did not answer. "Master," asked Pilgrim, "what's the matter with you?" "I don't know why," replied the elder with a groan. "But my head seems light, my eyes feel puffy, and I ache all over." On hearing this, 8 rules touched him and found him feverish. "I know," said Idiot, giggling. "You saw last night that the rice was free, and you ate 1 bowl too many and then went to sleep with a blanket over your head. You've got indigestion." "Rubbish," snapped Pilgrim. "Let me find out from Master what is the true reason. I got up in the middle of the night to relieve myself, and I forgot to put on my cap," said Tripitaka. "I must have been chilled by the wind." "That's more like it," replied Pilgrim. "Can you travel at all?" "I can't even sit up," said Tripitaka. "How could I mount the horse? But then, I don't want to delay our journey either." "You shouldn't speak like that, Master," said Pilgrim. "As the proverb says, once a teacher, always a father. Since we have become your disciples, we are like your sons. The proverb also says, you need not rear your children with silver and gold. That they treat you kindly is good to behold. If you don't feel well, you needn't mention anything about delaying our journey. Stay here for a few days. What's wrong with that? Thus the brothers all ministered to their master, hardly realizing that. The dawn passed, the noon came, and dusk set in. The good night withdrew at the break of day. Time went by swiftly, and 2 days had passed before the master sat up on the third day and called out, "Wukong, I was so sick these last 2 days that I did not think of asking you, that Lady Bodhisattva who got back her life, did anyone send her some rice to eat? Why worry about her?" said Pilgrim with a laugh. "You should be concerned with your own illness." "Indeed. Indeed," said Tripitaka. "Please help me get up, and bring out my paper, brush, and ink. Go and borrow an inkstand from the monastery." "What for?" asked Pilgrim. "I want to write a letter," said the elder, "in which I'll also enclose the travel rescript. You may take that up to Chang'an and ask for an audience with Emperor Taizong." "That's easy," said Pilgrim. "Old Monkey may not be very able in other matters, but I'm the best postman in the whole wide world. When you finish your letter, I'll send it to Chang'an and hand-deliver it to the Tang Emperor with 1 somersault. Then I'll come back here with another somersault before your brush and inkstand are dry." "But why do you want to send a letter? Tell me a little of its contents, and then you may write." Shedding tears, the elder said, "This is what I intend to write. 3 times your priestly subject bows his head. To greet my sage ruler, long may he live. By lords civil and martial let this be read. Let 400 nobles hear what is said. When I left the east that year by decree, Buddha on Spirit Mount I had hoped to see. I did not such ordeals anticipate, or in midway such afflictions foresee. This monk, now gravely ill, cannot proceed, and Buddha's gate seems far as heaven's gate. I've no life for scriptures, my toil is vain. Some other seeker, I beg you ordain." When Pilgrim heard these words, he could not refrain from breaking into uproarious laughter. "Master," he said, "you're just too weak. A little illness and you already entertain such thoughts. If you get any worse, if it truly becomes a matter of life and death, all you need is to ask me." Old Monkey has ability enough to pose the following questions: which Yama King dares make this decision? Which judge of hell has the gall to issue the summons? And which ghostly summoner would come near to take you away? If I'm the least bit annoyed, I may well bring out that temperament that greatly disturbed the celestial palace and, with my rod flying, fight my way into the region of darkness. Once I catch hold of the 10 Yama Kings, I'll pull their tendons one by one, and even then I'll not spare them." "Oh disciple," said Tripitaka, "I am gravely ill. Please don't talk so big." Walking up to them, 8 Rules said, "Elder brother, master says the situation is not good, and you insist that it is. That's awfully embarrassing. We should make plans early to sell the horse and hawk the luggage so that we can buy a coffin for his funeral before we scatter." "You're babbling again, idiot," said Pilgrim. "You don't realize that Master was the second disciple of our Buddha, Tathagata, and originally he was called Elder Gold Cicada. Because he slighted the law, he was fated to experience this great ordeal." "Oh elder brother," said 8 Rules. "Even if Master did slight the law, he had already been banished back to the land of the East, where he took on human form in the field of slander and the sea of strife. After he made his vow to worship Buddha and seek scriptures in the Western heaven, he was bound whenever he ran into monster spirits, and he was hung high whenever he met up with demons. Hasn't he suffered enough? Why must he endure sickness as well?" "You wouldn't know about this," replied Pilgrim. "Our old master fell asleep while listening to Buddha expounding the law. As he slumped to one side, his left foot kicked down 1 grain of rice. That is why he is fated to suffer 3 days' illness after he has arrived at the region below." Horrified, 8 Rules said, "The way old hog sprays and splatters things all over when he eats, I wonder how many years of illness I'd have to go through." "Brother," said Pilgrim. You have no idea either that the Buddha is not that concerned with you and other creatures. But as people say, rice stalks planted in noonday sun take root as perspiration runs. Who knows of this food from the soil? Each grain requires most bitter toil. Master still has one more day to go, but he'll be better by tomorrow. Tripitaka said, I feel quite different from yesterday, for I'm terribly thirsty. Could you find me some cool water to drink? That's good, remarked Pilgrim. When Master wants to drink, it's a sign that he's getting better. Let me go fetch some water. Taking out the alms bowl, he went immediately to the incense kitchen at the rear of the monastery to fetch water. There, however, he came upon many priests who were sobbing, their eyes all red-rimmed, though they dared not weep aloud. How could you priests be so petty? Asked Pilgrim. We stay here for a few days, but we fully intend to thank you and pay you back for the rice and firewood when we leave. Why do you behave in such a low-class manner? Greatly flustered, the priests knelt down to say, We dare not. We dare not. What do you mean by you dare not? Said Pilgrim. I suppose the big appetite of the priest with a long snout has hurt your assets, venerable father, replied one of the priests. Even in this desolate temple of ours, there are altogether over 100 monks, old and young. If one of us were to feed one of you for one day, we could still manage to take care of all of you for over 100 days.